Heidi ho there, neighbors. It's your best friend, Matthew Lepasic, and your other best friend, Alex Estrada. Welcome to Faith the Nation. I will be assisting you this evening throughout this journey, this expose of politics, as you see from the thumbnail. We've got a heated battle taking place, and I'm pretty disgusted. Alex, how are you doing, and what are your disgust levels at right now?
Yeah, I just want to start off by greeting our wonderful viewers. I just want to say thank you for tuning in to another episode of Faith the Nation. Shout out to Brother Cliss Emmanuel, Sister Shirley, God bless you. Welcome again. Juggalo Wrestling, welcome. He says, battle for the supremacy of Freemasonry. Interesting. Hot
We're getting
Topic says,
we're
"Oh,
getting
this
closer.
is Joel Osteen. I oughta. I'm out of here. He's a wolf in sheep's clothing. Not sure where
Well,
you're getting. Not sure where you're
I
getting that.
know
Anyways,
everything about everybody. I know everyone's
and
hearts.
Sister Taylor, welcome to the show. God bless you guys. If you guys are watching, please let us know where you guys. So be sure to comment that in the comment section. We've got an active live chat. Also, just want to ask everybody to please, please, please hit the like button. It really helps us to try to hit that algorithm, especially when we are shadow banned for so long. We've been shadow banned for years now. But if you can hit that like button, that'll definitely help us out a lot. So, but to answer your question, Matt, I think it's a little bit of a distraction for sure, but I think it's also Elon Musk is really showing his true colors. I think is what's really happening. But aside from that, I know we have some other things to talk about. But yeah, so just to answer that, I was kind of expecting it. I'm not surprised from Elon.
I don't know. Elon Musk is the one showing his true colors.
Yeah, I
I don't
think
know.
so.
Are we all going to show our true colors as we're just willing to betray each other and stab each other in the back at a moment's notice? I mean, are we really fighting for the Republic of the United States? Are we fighting for Jesus? I don't. They're not fighting for Jesus. That's very clear. I don't know. I would think that Trump is the one. It's like he started it. Did he really intend to say what he said on national television? Didn't seem like that big of a jab. Seemed like he was being kind-hearted. Is this perhaps Elon's way of virtue signaling to the left to get him to stop burning down his Tesla stations and stop attacking his stock, so on and so forth? I don't know, but I do know that this game is immature. Battle of the egos, battle of the tards, battle of the reckless people who don't give a flying crud about the progress that we've made. What are they trying to win? Battle for Mar-a-Lago? I don't know. I find it to be plainly disgusting. Alex, why don't you filibuster for a second so I can see what's going on with Facebook here? Because for some reason we're not live
Okay.
on Facebook.
Yeah. So, if in case anybody has not seen the news, I'm sure it's been all over. It's definitely been all over social media. And I first saw it on my X account. And so, for you guys that don't have an X account, if you do have an X account, please be sure to follow us at faith_the nation. A link to that should be in the description below. But be sure to follow us on X as well. But definitely saw that there was, this battle that was quickly beginning to develop. So just to kind of fill you guys in on, how we got to where we're at is it has to do with the BBB, as Trump calls it, the Big Beautiful Bill. And within the Big Beautiful Bill, it is there's some basically some accusations that is coming from some people like Rand Paul and even Elon Musk began to criticize Donald Trump for the Big Beautiful Bill because it is going to add to the national debt something like $1 trillion. And so, there's been some criticism on behalf of Elon Musk. he's been going on X and he's been spamming X with posts. He's been posting the Kill Bill video or movie with I can't even remember the actress's name, but obviously, why is he showing Kill Bill? Is because he wants the bill to get killed, basically. And so there's this battle that's been going on, and of course Trump responds, and it just seems like a really bad breakup that's happening on X, and it's all live. It's happening in real time. Elon Musk came out today super criticizing Donald Trump, even so much as to accusing Donald Trump of actually being on the Epstein files. And we're going to get into all of this. Some other things we're going to get into is we are going to talk about the Ukraine-Russian war and how it has drastically escalated. In addition to that, we're also going to talk about the Iran nuclear deal and how that is going south very quickly. Iran has declared that they're not going to stop uranium enrichment, and Donald Trump says they cannot have any uranium enrichment. And so we are going to be getting into all of these topics here shortly. Back to you, Brother Matt.
Looks like someone else is live on the channel, so let me just leave it alone. So we'll be off Facebook for today. I don't want to accidentally mess with them. That seems what's going on there. Anywho, yeah, I don't know. I was just out playing pickleball, seeing the news fly across my screen. It just seems like such childhood antics of what's taking place. And I think it is about time for us to, point the fingers at this ridiculousness. Everyone's allowed to have opinions, and you're not allowed to lie, okay? You're not allowed to lie in front of our face. 2 weeks ago, Mr. Trump, okay, you were saying that, oh no, Elon, he doesn't care about the EV tax credit. And today you're saying the reason why he has a problem with this bill is because of the EV tax credit. Before Elon even tweeted a word, all of us knew that you were lying, that you were being stupid, okay? So yeah, you're just allowed to lie and do whatever you want and scheme. And then Mr. A 3-digit billionaire Elon is just supposed to eat it, right? And then all of us are supposed to decide what loyalties we got. And, we're just stirring the pot over here. Good old-fashioned knowledge of how to keep us all united together, right? So as to who's to blame, is it Elon Musk? Because Elon's saying, no, that's not true. Actually, you released the bill 9 hours before, in the middle of the night. Like I was saying during the episode, I find it revolting and disgusting when any party tries to do that. And I didn't have a chance to read the bill, Elon says, nor did anybody else. So thanks for the alley-oop, Trump, just playing your same old games. Integrity, I guess, doesn't run. Integrity must not be something that you highly value. Or maybe you're just flipping at the top of your tongue and you don't even have a filter to know when you're lying. So blaze. What's the word? Like, lie to us better. Make up better lies. Brazen.
Well,
okay?
Can I say something though? I mean, I thought that it was required to introduce the bill and give 48 hours. I thought they had 48 hours to look at the bill. I thought they were given 48 hours, everybody, to look at the bill before they voted on it. Didn't they get 48 hours? I thought they got 48 hours, not like 2 hours.
No, they got like 12 hours, 9 hours, very short period of time. And that's what the Democrats were complaining about to begin with. And just like when Democrats were in office and they would do that stuff to us, that's what they were complaining about as well. So I don't know what the actual minimum is, but I know they definitely weren't given no 48 hours. They were all staying up at late night and arguing, reading the bill just to be able to debate it, to be able to prepare for the Senate, for the House hearing in the morning. Whatever it is, like wholly inadequate. And the intentionality, it's more about, if we had a last-minute bill, we were just attacked, something happened, we got to pass something, no problem. But when your motive is to intentionally make it so that your constituents and the people, it means we can't have a voice. We can't call our congressmen. We can't call our senators and say, vote this way or don't vote that way. All right. And I'm the first person on the Trump train. I'm the last person to betray everybody. But you just got to call a spade here. And Am I allowed to say retarded? Is that a Christian term? I mean, but it's. Should I use a different
I mean,
language
we
other
should
than
probably.
retarded? I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah, we
it's
should
it's
probably try to do
immature.
that.
It's childish. It's
Okay, that's better.
immature.
That's better.
It's
That's better.
foolish.
Yes.
This is not what I expect. And the same thing coming out of your tongue, Mr. Trump. You think that you can disrespect Rand Paul and libertarians that while you were flying around with Epstein or whatever else you were doing, not trying to implicate you on the child sex thing there, because I think I think that your career of how you stood out, you banned him from Mar-a-Lago, speaks for itself. No record of you actually being on the island. But everybody knows that you're a playboy. But you think that we're just going to betray people that have stood for United States Constitution while you were, suckling on some woman somewhere? No, 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 no. No, my loyalty is not to Donald Trump. You're some sort of newbie punk, okay, who I respect and I'm so thankful for, and I think even God put you in this position in the first place. But you think you just get to diss the whole libertarian movement and then say whatever you want and we all fawn over you? No, it isn't how the world works. But 90% of MAGA probably will fawn, and right now a division is taking place that could have been avoided if either party, Elon Musk, but Donald Trump is supposed to be the bigger person in my opinion because he's the president of the United States. He's the one that we voted into office and that we're all saying God put in position in order to unite us and make America, give America a second chance here during this golden age. I'm not turning on Donald, but I'm sick of you.
Okay.
Little
well,
mistakes.
let me just look. We live in an age where knowledge is at our fingertips, and I did pull up on Grok. I just asked Grok. I said, how many hours did Congress get to review the big, beautiful bill before the vote? Said House members had approximately 48 hours to review the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, H.R. 1, before the vote. The bill was introduced on May 20th, 2025, and passed by the House on May 22nd, 2025. However, the final 1,118-page text was released just hours before the vote, likely limiting thorough review. So that's the
that's like the gotcha. It's like the Stephen there inside the office saying, "Hey guys, what did the lawyers actually say? What can we do according to the Constitution? I don't know what the Constitution said. It's only a one-page document. Let's see what the lawyers have to say." Oh, the lawyers say that we can play a game, that we get to announce the bill, give a preview, but you don't have to have the final text.
All right, but listen, I mean, look, I'm not saying that I agree with the way things are done, in Congress or how bills are passed. But I mean, to be fair, I mean, isn't that what they do with, the Democrats? Isn't that what they do to be able to pass these bills, right? I'm not saying that it's okay per se that they did it that way, but if they need to pass a bill and they have people that play a game and break the rules in their game. I mean, you almost got to play the same kind of game that they play, right? Donald Trump is not a politician, but yet he's had to learn how to be a politician, right? And this 4-year cycle, he's had a long time and 8 years to really be able to figure out how to play the game. And so I think Trump is just playing the game to get his agenda passed. And again, I'm trying to give him, just a pass because, I support Donald Trump. I voted for Donald Trump 3 times, probably vote for him a 4th. But I think it's something that he's learned how to be a politician and to get his agenda passed. And what is the most thing let me ask you this, Brother Matt. Aside from introducing the bill, and let's just say it only had a few hours. Let's just say there's only a few hours to review it. What's in the bill that you disagree with?
I have no clue.
Okay, so
firstly, I haven't even read the bill. Okay, I'm about process, right?
Sure.
And how is it fair? First, I'm about process and psychology and the facts, okay? But if I don't have the facts, I care about us not delivering slam dunks for people to attack us for that would further divide us or further give cause for Democrats to be able to say something. And I want to make sure that whatever I say when a Democrat is in office is what I say when a Republican's in office. Do I have grandiose ideas about how I would like us not to cause an additional $2.4 trillion additional to our deficit over the course of the next 10 years of this budget? Okay, yeah, great. But am I really complaining about that? No, I'm not complaining about that because I don't have a solution. You've gotten us 20 plus trillion dollars in the debt, and you're continuing to feed the military industrial complex. I think what you were alluding to, not alluding to it, what you were saying, I don't know how the game is played over there in Washington, okay? In terms of, what's his name? What's the Speaker of the House? Speaker Johnson?
Mike Johnson. Mike Johnson.
Johnson. You know, of how we go and rally our troops, get the numbers. Let's do one big beautiful bill. Let's do one big beautiful bill because we know that part of the deal is if that doesn't work, then we'll concede and we'll go to option B, option C, option D. If that's the way to sell themselves. But by process alone, it's just not fair because we, the United States of America, we're us citizens. We are also supposed to have a voice. We're supposed to have time in order to potentially influence our congressmen, influence our senators. All right. So I just don't. Short of a terrorist attack, a financial attack, emergency circumstances, I would see that the ability for them to introduce the bill without giving us time to read it is incoherent, and that everybody should believe that you should have time to read the bill. And at the very least, I don't like that how is that wisdom to give the CNN and everybody else or people or punks like myself the ability to say, hey, you're bad for doing that. Why don't you just, if you like the bill so much, why can't you just give them enough time to read it?
Yeah. Well, listen, we've got about 40 people watching live, and I just want to say thank you guys for watching. But if you're watching, man, please hit that like button. It really helps us out. It really helps us to get this video out. And look, we want to make a lot more videos like this. And so your support in liking our videos, commenting, all those things, we really, really do appreciate it. But, moving forward, beyond what's in the big, beautiful bill.
Also,
it's
join
obvious
the show.
that
join the show.
Oh yeah, where can they join the show at, Matt?
The call-in system is live. We've yet to have a single person decide to do it. They can go to faiththenation.tv, and there's going to be a green button, and you can click on Join the Show, and you sit and type in my name is, and you enter in your email address. You click the button. It'll put you in queue, and then we will move you over, and then you will be this person right here, right in the middle. That'll be you, right there. Other way, that way. That'll be you.
But be sure to bring something of value, right? Bring something that we can discuss. Okay, don't just be a puppet.
Disagree with us vehemently. You can even be like, what about all you people that think that we're just all about Trump all day long? We just love Trump, or anything. Like, you don't have to. Listen, we want you on video, but if you don't do video, we'll just make fun of you a little bit. Yeah, have something to say and be in full attack mode, or just join us one way or the other.
Okay. Well, let's move forward. Let's talk about what's really been hitting the news today. Obviously, that is the news that Elon Musk has really began to call out Donald Trump, not only on just the big, beautiful bill, but he dropped a quote-unquote bombshell. And if you can share my screen, Brother Matt, the one that I have shared, Elon Musk says it's time to drop the really big bomb. At real Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That is the real reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day, DJT. And
is that true?
My sentiment.
Do we think that's true? Go ahead. Do we think that's true?
I don't know. I don't think so.
That's the reason it hasn't been released? Or is that Elon now lying to us? He's not Christian.
Well, Elon would have to know why it's not released in order to be able to say why it hasn't been released, right? That would be the argument. If I'm having a debate and I say, the Quran isn't true, I would have to be able to prove why it's not true in order to prove it's not true, right? I would have to show reasons why. Elon Musk would have to, if he's saying that Donald Trump is in the Epstein files, then he would have to have seen the Epstein files and know what's in the Epstein files in order to be able to say that. Now,
I do know he is in the
retweeted
Epstein files. He is in the Epstein files. I think we know that for sure. It's just that, is it true that the reason why they're not released is because he's in the Epstein files?
It's not a mystery. It's not a secret that Donald Trump hung out with him a few times at some of his parties. The parties that there were adults at, okay, that we know, that is certain, where there were adults. And look, I'm not condoning any actions that Donald Trump has taken, with whatever he's done in his past, whatever he's done in secret. I'm not condoning any of that. But what we do know, and I actually have this here, and I guess I can just go straight to it. This was asked. It says this was a Grok question. So it says research suggests that Donald Trump first publicly criticized Jeffrey Epstein. Are you seeing that on the screen, Brother Matt?
Sorry, I have myself muted. Yes, I do.
Okay. It says research suggests that Donald Trump first publicly criticized Jeffrey Epstein in 2019, stating he was not a fan after their falling out around 2004. It seems likely Trump banned Epstein from Mar-a-Lago around 2007 after Epstein hit on a member's teenage daughter, as confirmed by the club's registry. Okay. So it seems that Donald Trump was not about hitting on underage girls. It says, however, there is no evidence Trump reported Epstein to the police, though he reportedly provided information to an attorney for Epstein's victims. So Donald Trump was the only one of the, high members or like rich individuals that was willing to be speaking to the attorneys for Epstein's victims. Donald Trump was actually willing to talk to them. No other, I guess you can say, elite member of society was willing to talk to the attorneys of Epstein's victims, but Donald Trump was. I mean, and so, I'm not saying that that's a reason that he's innocent, but typically guilty people don't want to do that. Okay. That's not typical characterization or actions done by somebody who is guilty of these things. Not saying he can't be. Okay. But, and so, this whole thing about, whether Donald Trump is part of the Epstein files. Yeah, maybe there are, some names. His name is dropped in certain situations. But what is the real incriminating evidence that we're really looking for? It's the tapes. It's the tapes that we're looking for, right? It's, are we going to see a Bill Clinton on the tape? Are we going to see a Donald Trump on a tape? Right? That's the incriminating evidence that we want. And, we don't want to see victims. That's not what we want. We don't even really want to see any part of any of the acts. We just want those who were really a part of, child trafficking, sex
Look
trafficking.
What he's insinuating. Look what he's insinuating, Alex. All right. So now this is not Elon bashing. Now you're insinuating you want to go to the whole world, right? And be like, boom, I got you, lady, right? I'm insinuating that you're a pedophile, right? And that you're covering up for pedophiles. And the reason, that's what he could, you got 240 characters plus whatever else, all right? You can say whatever you want. The way that he's articulating that leaves open room for the imagination. We've already known that Donald Trump has been on Lolita Express, 7 different times, whatever he was on the flight logs. Everybody knows that. The left throws it at us all the time. The Trump haters throw it at us all the time. Right? So the only reason to say this is thinking like, boom, shakalaka. Because he's pointing at the fact that sexual misconduct, he wants that thought to be inside of his mind. And the fact that we're willing to go to war with one another when we're just coming off of a season, where they're literally talking on television with each other about how they know the left is trying to pin them against one another and how freely they now go into this attack dog position. Both of them I've lost so much respect for both of them. I'm not saying no Trump 2028. I ain't saying no Elon 2028. I'm sick and tired of people like this that don't have integrity and morals and are willing to lie to our face and manipulate us in the court of public opinion. Unfortunately, we don't have any better options at this point in time. But it's like real Christians only, born again Christians only. Let's put Lance Wallnau. I'll even take T.D. Jakes, or you can put Joel Osteen up there for 2028. These guys are a joke. They have no problem dividing and throwing everybody under the bus.
Yeah, Jesus Loves You says, aren't Trump and Elon the first and second beast in Revelation? Oh, man. No. How about no?
We're getting closer and closer to where it's like, all you people that have been saying that for the longest time, I literally just roll my eyes at you because of your certainty, right? You say that, and although
I would just say it's because of their poor assertion of Scripture. It's just really, really poor. We're actually, and I'm not trying to put that as I'm not trying to down you. Jesus loves you. I'm sorry. Don't take it that way. Okay, but look, I mean, we're actually reading Revelation as far as our Bible study right now, and yeah, it's just so far. Like, there's just no way Trump, or now maybe Elon could see, and this is what we were going to get into. This is what I was going to get into. I'm going to hold that, but we'll talk a little bit about Elon, whether Elon could fit within Revelation. That I'm not necessarily ruling out just yet, okay? But I definitely want to get to that, but not right this second.
But you know what? The Trump people are the anti-Trump people. If they're not in that category, that's a religious category. I have a lot of conspiracy friends through the years who, they're against Trump, and they're saying, "Hey guys, it's the same theater. It's the same two sides of the same coin." And days like this really looks like theater. And I can't say one way or the other. I don't have leanings. I still think that it's genuine. But this stinks to high heaven. This is just bad for everybody.
If you can, share my screen. Donald Trump had posted his truths on Truth Social. He says, "I don't mind Elon turning against me, but he should have done this months ago. This is one of the greatest bills ever presented to Congress." And, obviously Donald Trump uses that type of language all the time. So it's not surprising that he would use it for his big, beautiful bill. He says, "It is record cut in expenses, $1.6 trillion, and the biggest tax cut ever given. If this bill doesn't pass, there will be a 68% tax increase, and things far worse than that. I didn't create this mess. I'm just here to fix it. This puts our country on path of greatness. Make America great again." And then he also says the easiest way to save money in our budget, billions and billions of dollars, is to terminate Elon's governmental subsidies and contracts. I was always surprised that Biden didn't do it. Now, let me ask you, Matt. I mean, is that a threat, you think?
It's stupid. It's child's play. We're over here. You're telling us that you're going to get $2 trillion out of the budget. You're hitting us with Doge headlines, one after the other, with zero follow-up whatsoever, okay? Even the story that you're all over Fox News talking about how they're renting out Caesar Stadium, which there is no such thing as Caesar Stadium, conflating facts, mixing up details all over the place, right and left. And what'd you get? You get $200 billion, okay? $300 billion, great. And you're telling us that's a whole heck of a lot of money. And then now you're gonna make it seem as if this cutting of any type of expenses is anything more than an ad hominem attack. When Elon just went to outer space, I mean, you're just falling into the hands of the left. It just, isn't there a better way of handling that? How would we handle this as brothers and sisters in the Lord? And let's not do this Matthew 18 stuff. I'm so sick of people always trying to make an incident in this era of exposure. Everything Matthew 18, Matthew 18, Matthew 18. I mean, they have no true love for one another, I mean, we're supposed to be Americans. We're supposed to be fighting against Satan, who has been personified by this Democratic Party, and yet we'll so wildly turn against one another. I mean, you ever heard of a phone call? You ever heard of like, like I'm going to say this, I'm going to say that? How could this not be pre-planned and pre-screened?
Well,
Like
well, look, I mean,
I'm
and
sick
again,
of it.
another tweet that Donald Trump had done on his True Social media page. I have that also up, Matt.
Yep.
If you can
Yep.
share my screen, it says
Yep.
Elon was wearing thin. I asked him to leave. I took away his EV mandate that forced everyone to buy electric cars that nobody else wanted, that he knew for months I was going to do, and he just went crazy. Okay, now this is true though. Donald Trump said he was going to get rid of that EV mandate. Even
What's
during
true?
the
What's true about that nobody else wanted? Like nobody wants electric cars. He's talking.
that's not what
You don't
he's
think what he's
saying.
saying?
He's talking about the EV mandate to force everybody to have an electric vehicle by I think it's 2050. That's that mandate. That's
Yeah,
the
and
mandate he's talking
and he's
about. That was
supporting
part
of
of
that.
the what do you call it? The big green scam, or what was it called?
A
Green
mandate
bill.
or the tax credit, right? So a mandate, yes. Nobody in their right mind, including
He's
Elon.
talking about the electric vehicle mandate
Sure.
that was going to force everybody to have an electric vehicle by 2050. That's the mandate he's talking about. That was a part of the green new scam that they were talking about, that Biden had put in. That Kamala, if I remember correctly, she was the tie-breaking vote, okay, in the Senate. And so that's what he's talking about. That it was going to force everybody to buy electric vehicles. There was not going to be any more
Good. That's a
gas-powered
no-brainer,
vehicles.
though. Who would ever think in a million years that he would continue in that? The guy's canceling Pride Month, okay? And yeah,
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's
what
what I'm saying.
all
Is that
we ever articulated is
he
is
was
the tax
campaigning
credit.
on this. No,
Who?
this is not talking about the tax credit, though.
That's
This
what I'm
is talking
saying,
about
but
the
that's what I'm
mandate.
saying, but that's a foregone conclusion. We know that this mandate was a bunch of nonsense. That's part of this Green New Deal. He articulates all the time, we're going to burn baby burn, or whatever the heck it's called. Like a start drill baby drill baby drill.
We don't want to
He
burn
doesn't-
baby burn. No.
He
We
doesn't.
don't wanna
Well,
burn
that's what they're
baby
doing
burn.
today. They're burning the house down, feeding CNN. These people are just joyously laughing at everything, and it all could have been avoided. If this happened between two co-pastors at a church or something, I would fire them both. I really wouldn't. It would be absolutely intolerable. But we got no choice because we're so embedded. We're so attached to the president, him, because they're so unique statesmen, and I just gotta eat crud all day with him literally campaigning to like kick and like cast dirt and mud at people like Rand Paul. Why is no one perfect? Why can't he be perfect? What does it take to be a perfect constitutionalist?
Jesus, he's perfect.
No, what? What's so hard about the Constitution? Why does he feel he has to throw Rand under the bus? Why does he feel he has to make up lies about Elon? Okay, yeah, Elon really wanted a mandate. No, he didn't. He's on your team. Nobody wants a mandate. You didn't even have to talk about mandates because that's a foregone conclusion. What was perhaps up for debate is a tax credit. Okay. All right, and even that, you guys had previous discussions about how that's potentially going away, and that you're actually using that as cannon fodder to suggest that the left won't be able to successfully divide you, because even a topic like that you're not willing to divide on. And now, he's in the Epstein files, he's doing this, he's doing that. I mean, how can we teach them a lesson when we're always going to be... What are we going to do? Hop off the Trump train? What are we going to do? I mean, I can't do nothing. Am I just going to start a bandwagon of attack against Elon Musk and bring up his babysitter who doesn't reply to any emails? I offer her to have one-on-one conversations, doesn't reply to comments. I mean, okay, she's not a witness to me. I can't get anybody to validate anything that she's saying. So, I mean, why didn't you just be grown-up men that understand the perilous threat that we're under right now and not doing all this in public? It's hideous.
Yeah. Let's see. So I had retweeted this. You don't have to share this one, but this guy, if you guys probably don't know who this guy is, his name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. He's the body language guy. He's got a really cool YouTube channel where he evaluates body language. And it's pretty cool when you see him evaluate it. And anyways, that's a little caveat there. But he says, I've asked the same question many times. If Trump is in the Epstein files, let's just preface it. Okay, maybe he's there, but if Trump is in the Epstein files with incriminating evidence, how come the Democrats never used that against him? That's going to be the question. They wanted Donald Trump to they tried to put Donald Trump in jail for 700 years for those the 34 felony charges, fake felony charges. So if the Democrats had any dirt from Epstein, wouldn't they have used it? I mean, it makes no sense, right? I mean, come on. They would have used it. So
Of course it makes no sense.
So
Both of them are willing to lie. They don't care. They don't care whether or not Christ is going to have to count for every word on Judgment Day. Listen, I'm not perfect, but these guys don't care. You just lie right in front of our face, insinuate, point fingers, do all this stuff. They're not Christians. Why am I so addicted to their narrative? Done with these pigs.
Yeah.
Oh, done with these pigs means what? Oh, I can't be done with them. I'm stuck with them. And there's nothing better. And then, Bannon, Trump 2028. No, a Christian for 2028. Elon 2028? Yeah, right. Okay? I don't trust you non-Christian punks.
Well, Elon can't run anyway. He's not an American citizen. But anyways, so this was
You're
brought
going to go to hell. You're going to go to hell, you idiots.
without Christ. But there's hope. Got to repent. Believe gospel. Jesus. Follow him. But Steven Crowder, many of you guys know who Steven Crowder is. We're not going to play it. I think he has some cursing in here. But he does make some points. And this is something that I had heard a little bit also. And look, we talked about this. We talked about Elon Musk coming out about the H-1B visas, right? Because Elon Musk came to the United States on an H-1B visa. And look, Elon Musk is a business owner. Donald Trump is a business owner. They use the H-1B visas as a means to, hold this visa over people's heads. They can get people at cheaper rates, and they can force them to work overtime, even without following the rules of overtime. It's just what business owners do, right? It's a lot like when business owners, have their sweaters made in sweatshops in China, right? And then they sell in the United States. Same thing. I mean, I'm not saying that's right, okay? And even Donald Trump said, he's not saying that it was right, but he used it during his first campaign in 2016. Donald Trump was against H-1B visas. And so when a few months ago, when Elon Musk was talking about these H-1B visas, I think this is happening actually even before the election, actually. But nonetheless, this is when the bird flu was going around. We had that thumbnail with Elon Musk and that lady, and then that bird swimming in milk with the mask on it, holding a Visa card. That was pretty epic. But anyways, let me get back to the point. Look, I wasn't down with Elon Musk talking about H-1B visas because it was the O-1B visa that they're really talking about. The H-1B visa is really just for regular folks, well, above average folks. Let's just say above average. But then they played it out to be like, the elites, the super intelligent, the geniuses. We need them in our system, so we need the H-1Bs. No, for the geniuses and for those that are exceptional in what they do, they're super athletes or whatever. They're supposed to be applying for the O-1B visa, not the H-1B. Right. And so this is when all the people of MAGA, they were starting to kind of turn against Elon Musk. OK, and so is it a surprise that we're actually seeing Elon Musk actually now beginning to be anti-MAGA, anti-Trump? And I think it's like I said, I think this was.
I don't think it's anti-MAGA and anti-Trump. I think it's anti-lies. He's anti being smeared. He's anti being punked, right? By some guy that just thinks that he's dealing with somebody who doesn't own one of the largest social media microphone pieces in the world. And he's just allowed, no, it's like, up your game, Trump. Don't lie about your friends in order,
What did he
because you
lie
have
about,
nothing to
though?
say. He
What did he lie
said,
about?
what did he say? He said that the reason why Elon got all upset is because we are removing the tax credit or the mandate or whatever, and that portion of the bill. That's when Elon replied and said, no, I never even saw the bill. It's like nobody else saw the bill. That was the beginning of this whole feud online publicly. So Trump goes online and lies about what the motives are, the reasons. Now, was that supposed to be like a nod and a wink from Trump to give like some sort of soft reason for why Elon's trashing the bill publicly? No, I feel like although I don't know what we could be doing better, like what's Elon's plan? Well, Elon's plan, if you look at it, he really did want to get $2 trillion out of the deficit, I believe. Okay, he wanted to go into the Pentagon. He wanted to start shredding, right? And what does Trump want to do?
They didn't allow him.
Trump wants to spend $300 billion on the Golden Dome, right? So behind the scenes,
him to spend $300 billion on the Golden Dome.
Okay, great.
I want that.
Okay, I think I sort of want that too, but we have to pick and choose
we want that.
But we gotta pick and choose what the optics are. I also want us to be have a military that's not completely emptied out by what the Biden administration done. He said that like they use all of our what's it called, bullets, like all of our refineries,
ammunition,
stockpiles, ammunition stockpiles and stuff. They use all of our
they
oil reserves. So like maybe we can't have everything at the same time. But I don't know what Elon would be asking for necessarily. But I think he would like to have seen the idea of what Doge's principle is and trying to reach a goal of $1 or $2 trillion being carried out by this budget agenda. But I think that's all balanced by the midterms that are coming up soon. And we've got to be able to placate people and get some major wins in and kick the bucket down the road about this whole deficit thing, because I don't think we're going to be able to solve that anytime soon, short of a bond market crisis.
Bro, I got breaking news. Share my screen. Elon Musk, the deadly wound, Revelation 13, and he's healed. Elon Musk is the Antichrist.
Wouldn't life just be easier if we could just, if I could just like get on that bash Elon, everyone's the Antichrist train, then great. You're just pessimist and you get to have all those wonderful scriptures. Anybody who's a friend of the world is no friend of God, and then I'll be back on that train where there's no hope, right? I'm always pessimistic. And I always say it's two sides of the same coin. Everybody's an infiltrator. Everybody's a Mason. Everybody's Illuminati. It's so easy when you just have that very immature belief system and understanding, and you don't believe that God is big enough to be navigating in this day and age. But I do believe that God has a role in the politics. Although He's told us clearly that Satan is the god of this world, and although I've got prayers that aren't being answered right and left, and all kinds of reasons to like ponder on the fact that Satan is the god of this world and what's the role of God's sovereignty that plays in prayer and politics and all that. Even though I see, what I used to say 50% of the people I pray for get healed, and now I see like 10% of the people who I pray for get instantaneously healed. I still am caught up. I still am. 10%'s good. 10% is what leads me not to pray for anybody now. I mean, it's like.
Yeah, I think that's good. That's good. I mean, hey, it's 10% more than zero.
Not when you're promising healing to people on a microphone, right? Not when how I got to Christ is by demonstrating supernatural miracles and power of the Spirit. I'm not blaming anything on God. It's all on me. It's because of how Satan's weaseled his way into my faith EKG meter. Anyhow, there's no reason to get into any of that. But I still hold on to that God is doing something unique in America, but it's just so very easy just to say everybody's a bad guy. And I just don't, I'm not that black and white anymore, but days like today just makes me so fed up. I just want to throw a temper tantrum.
So I got a couple more on
I
this
hate
issue.
you. I hate you, Donald
Yeah,
Trump.
so I got a couple more. Share my screen. And so I'm not a fan of Candace Owens. Anyways, we're not going to get into reasons why, but not a fan of real Candace Owens. But hey, she's on the money on this one. She says she retweeted Elon Musk. She says Trump is implicated alongside a pedophile, and I knew it, but didn't care because we were friends. End quote. End quote. Right? She's basically saying, she's using the narrative that she's Elon Musk saying this. Right? And so she says Trump is implicated alongside a pedophile. I knew it, but I didn't care because we were friends. And then she says, "Is not a flex. You think it is." And she's right. And I was actually, you know what? I was telling my wife this actually earlier today when we were on our way home. And I was like, Elon Musk is coming out and he's dropping the real big bomb, saying that the real reason why they haven't released the Epstein files because Donald Trump is a part of it. Like, you knew about it then and you didn't say anything. That just sounds too weird.
You poo-poo
it
heads.
just sounds weird. So I just don't know. Elon Musk, I think he's just wilding out right now. But I saw this.
Out.
This was it. Yeah, I saw this. That is interesting. James O'Keefe. Look, and we've been talking about James O'Keefe on the channel, and how he's been coming out about these Epstein Island videos. Right, he's been releasing these. He says, if it was something truly incriminating, wouldn't it have leaked already? There were too many incentives to hurt Trump. Okay? And then your buddy, Tim Pool. I'm sorry, this is not your buddy, but your acquaintance, Tim Pool, says Elon 2028. And finally, the Babylon Bee strikes again with this update. Judge determines Trump will get the nation on weekdays while Musk gets every other weekend and holidays.
Cute. I like that one.
Boom, 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 boom. If you guys didn't laugh at that one, sorry. Okay, it was just a little joke. Babylon Bee strikes again. Now, I want to talk really quick about the real thing about this whole topic. As I mentioned before, and I can't remember who made the comment. Somebody had made the comment about the first and second beast of Revelation. And while I just don't see Donald Trump as any part of that, biblically, there's no head wound. There was no miraculous healing from a deadly wound. There just wasn't a miraculous healing. It just doesn't line up. He's not demanding worship. He doesn't want worship. He doesn't blaspheme God. He gives glory to Jesus Christ for saving his life. So he just doesn't line up. Okay. However, could this be now, right? Elon Musk. We know Elon Musk is, and we were talking about the Neuralink, right? The Neuralink, that is a microchip that gets implanted into your brain. And they're doing it for medical purposes right now, giving sight to the blind, things like that, which sounds great. I mean, it sounds good, but it sounds sketchy though, right? And we were talking about the 666, the number of the beast, right? Here's wisdom, that the number of his name, 666, right? At the end of Revelation 13.
666. It's the answer for everything. 666.
And we were talking about the number of his name.
Beast.
We were talking about the number of his name, and how names in gematria can add up to numerical equivalents. And so how are we going to identify?
We should get brother Danny on.
We should.
Brother Danny.
He'll talk about it, right? But
he can be
Nero.
He can be somebody.
Yes.
Nobody else wants to join the show. Brother Danny will join the show. I'm gonna text him right now.
Yeah, probably not. Yeah, let's not do that. But anyhow, going back, because I think this is an important part that we really need to hammer this home and really consider. When in the discussion with Donald Trump being the Antichrist, I just don't believe it one bit. And scripturally, okay, he doesn't fit the Antichrist. But I've always said that we have to keep our head on a swivel with Elon Musk. Like, we just got to be watchful. Some of the things he's doing with the robotics, AI, the Neuralink, okay? And we were talking about this in Revelation 13 on our Bible study. We were discussing this, right? How, and this was another brother that I saw a brother's post, and so I'm not going to call out his name, but this was not my initial thought, but I was thinking something along these lines actually recently, how we are tripartite. We are three in one being, right? In humans, we carry the image of God.
Thank you. That's so sweet of you to call me such a thing. We're one.
God is.
It's not just you and your wife. It's me, you, and Stephanie. We're one being.
Matt, will you let me cook for a second, bro? Let me cook.
Sorry.
Okay, just let me cook. Let me cook. So God is three in one: Father, Son, Spirit. The one God, Father, the Son, and the Spirit. We are three in one. We are body. We are soul. Soul is our consciousness and our character. Is what makes us who we are, personality type. And then spirit, right? And so we're body, soul, spirit. Spirit is our direct link and connection to God, and it's the place where God dwells in our spirit. And so we are three in one. And we know that Satan uses men to do, to carry out his will, well, either through oppression, either through influence, or either through even oppression or possession. Possession. So Satan uses the three in one. Okay. And, we're diving into a new era with AI, with robotics, right? So robotics is the body. Okay. You have these robots that are balancing, that are able to walk and do all these things and run and do all these types of things, right? And then you have the AI consciousness. It can think and can learn, right? And so integrating that with robotics. But then could there possibly be a demonic possession within these AI robotics when they're fully, running at full steam? Whatever that looks like 10, 15, 20 years from now. Imagine where we're going to be with all of that, right? And so is that, something that has something to do with, the end times, the true end times? And does Elon Musk, how much of a role does he actually play in all of this with Neuralink, with the robotics, with AI, right? And is this separation from him with MAGA, is that really now going to really put Elon Musk, with a fury to just, he wants to impose what he wants, and he's just going to go all in, and now he's going to allow the devil to just use him to carry out his will, right? So I don't know. I'm not saying that that's what's going to happen. But I've always said we got to keep an eye on Elon Musk and what he's doing. And I'm not saying that it's him. I'm not saying that he is the Antichrist or anything like that. But we just gotta keep a watch. Definitely on Elon Musk, I'm watchful. And I would think we all need to be watchful of him. But let's continue to preach the gospel. So Elon Musk, if you ever see this message, you need to repent, bro. Believe in Jesus Christ for the remission of sins, and you shall be saved.
Amen. These guys definitely need Jesus
Amen.
Christ. Otherwise, we can't trust them.
Yeah. So that's
how'd I get myself into a situation where I trusted these people. That's why I just be like all the people who are like, Elon's no good, Trump's no good. And then you don't ever have to be let down. Don't ever get in a relationship. Don't ever develop friends, because then nobody's ever going to let you down. Don't pray for anybody, because then if your prayers don't work, you're not going to be let down. You know what I mean? So just let's be hopeless people, and we're just here breathing air until we die. In the meantime, it's just Satan reigning on the earth, and God pops up every once in a while. But what can we do? I guess our prayers are just we'll just be pessimistic, and then you never get your hopes you never get let down. You know what I mean? That sounds like probably a better way to live.
Yeah.
Just
Gotta have faith in Jesus, man. You just gotta have faith in Jesus, guys. Okay. Look, but just like Jesus said, give unto Caesar what is Caesar's, give to God what is God's. In Faith and Nation, obviously, when we're talking about these things, is so, in some sense, it is a Caesar type of thing. But we are giving what is God's, even within this, right? We are doing what is right. We're speaking about these things and praying that God would give us revelation and insight to these matters and issues that are really taking place, and being able to see with the spiritual eyes what is truly happening. In addition to that, using this platform as a means to be able to call people to repentance and faith in Jesus Christ in all areas of our lives, not just in the churches or on the street corners, but even in the ballot boxes, even in our city and town halls, right? Preaching Jesus Christ, bringing the word of God, faith, the nation. On to our next topic.
How about I'm sorry, let's call this feud off? How about an apology? Someone be the first to apologize and just be like, listen, I shouldn't have said that. I spoke off the cuff. Your real motives of why, you don't like this bill. I don't know why I ever said that. Say that, Trump. And then Elon say, you know what, you're right. The reason why the Epstein files aren't released isn't because your name's on there. I was just saying that because I know that would cause a big ruckus. All right, we're friends. We like each other. You hold my kid. You take your kid in and out of your planes and everything. Let's just forget that this ever happened, and let's all learn from it. If we could have a reconciliation moment as a result of that, a result of this, then that would be awesome when we could learn. Remember when you and I had that fight years ago, Alex? Didn't it make us stronger? It's good. Can't we learn and be Christ-like and just follow biblical principles and have integrity? Because you're just destroying us. You think that it's a small thing, it's a little thing, but the way that my emotions are reflected today, I'm just so irritated, and I'm just willing to give up on everything, on the politics front. I was literally on the pickleball courts today, and I was like, why did I even get into this stupid politics garbage? I have the Lord, and I thought I had an opportunity to utilize the whole political thing and not turn my back on Trump, and I felt that stirring when the bullets were flying to go down and start preaching and everything, when the Butler happened. Now here I am, just totally dismayed, and it just, like I said, it'd just be much easier just to be, all right, fine, Elon is some weirdo alien space creature demon person, and Trump's some Illuminati agent of divide and conquer, two sides of the same coin, New World Order, New World Order, New World Order. I hope these people aren't right at the end of it, but how can you be this foolish, And what other news could possibly mean anything other than this? Because this is. I know that we're short-term creatures, and tomorrow we're not even going to remember this, and whatever, And the left get to say we were right for a couple of days, and we're not going to remember it. But I feel like I've had all the life sucked out of me by this type of infighting when we just came through an era where they were trying to divide Elon and Trump so publicly, and they held it together the whole time. And now with no help by the left whatsoever, they decide to do this on full display of the world. And who am I going to blame first? Trump for saying the first lie, or Elon for correcting the first lie? Who's to blame? So
but Donald Trump is somebody that does exaggerate about everything. I mean, it's just what he does. It's just and maybe he's thinking when he says, oh well, Elon knew what was in that. Well, I think when he says stuff like that, he's talking about the EV mandate, that he knew Donald Trump was going to get rid of the EV mandate. That was something that Donald Trump ran on. That was a part of the 2024 presidential campaign that Donald Trump ran on, was getting rid of the EV mandate. And that's what the big, beautiful bill has done. And apparently Elon's mad about it. I mean, so anyways, look, I'm not trying to stay on this whole topic. We got plenty of other stuff to talk about.
Well, let me say one more
If
thing.
you want to say your last piece, yeah.
The last piece is that if I had to choose who I would like to be right in the situation, I would like Donald to be right. We have everything on the line. I have no emotional attachment towards Elon Musk. I never got invested in him doing anything except for Doge. You know, our futures are tied up right now on Donald Trump, and you know, I hope that Elon's the wrong one in this equation, and that something like the reflection of what you just said ends up being true, and he's just used to talking off the cuff and saying stuff, and Elon shouldn't have defended it, because we got a lot on the line here. And the future, we're only like 4 or 5 months into this thing. The future seems so bright, and bickering and craziness like this just
PBD, future looks bright. Yes. Well, look, I have to side. I have to side with Donald Trump on this. I'm going to side with Donald Trump on this, not because I'm a Donald Trump worshiper, but because he's my president, and he's the one who's leading our country.
Donald Trump.
I just think he's right.
Donald Trump.
I just think he's right. So
can I sing a song?
No, Matt, no songs.
Well, I've been doing a lot of songs lately. Let's not say why, but I can sing a song anytime you want it. I can do an impromptu song anytime you want. If the chat room wants it, say song.
You know what? We've actually done some rap freestyle battles, me and Matt. Oh, back in the day. Remember that, Matt? 2020 when we were doing the cross country tour. Anyways, yeah, we're not gonna get into that.
Type 666 if you think he's the Antichrist. Yeah. All right, go ahead, Alex. Sorry.
Oh, that's all right. So on to the next big thing. Yeah, so there's been a massive increase in aggression in the Ukraine Russia war. And so there was on June, I think it was June 1st, about 5 days ago, there was an airstrike that came from the Ukrainians by these drones. So they had smuggled about over 150 drones into Russia, and about like these drones that are shot off like missiles. We're talking about like little drones that you would fly with like a remote control. And these drones had explosives on it, and they went over air bases in Russia, like 4 different air bases, and they basically took out about 40% of Russia's bomber fleet. And when I say the bomber fleet, I'm talking about the big planes that hold all the bombs. Like, we would call them the B-2 bomber or the B-1 bomber. Right, those types of planes that are used for massive dropping of bombs on targets, and so there was about 40% of all of Russia's bombers were taken out through this attack, and the media is calling it Russia's Pearl Harbor. Okay, and so this is definitely a massive escalation in the war, and so why is that important? And I'll tell you why. It's because number one, here's a little side. This is not number one, but it was actually pretty impressive. That's a pretty impressive move. Like there was no civilian casualties or anything like that. It was just all of Russia's 40% of Russia's planes, bombers that got destroyed. So that's actually pretty impressive. Okay, that Ukraine was able to do this. Now, where it gets dicey, this is where it gets dicey, is that there was a senator from the United States that was meeting with the Ukrainian president, Zelensky, literally the day before that, and was getting all the support from this senator. The senator was saying that America supports them and this and that, and there's so much support from the United States to Ukraine, blah, 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 right? And then all of a sudden this attack comes. So naturally, Vladimir Putin thinks that Donald Trump and the United States probably would have something to do with this. Okay, and so now, one might ask, well, why would all these planes be, just out in the open? And there actually has something to do with the nuclear treaty. Okay, that all the nuclear powers, basically, they just said, hey, we got to have all the planes out in the open where everybody, so that this way we know there's no attacks or anything, nothing sneaky going on. Okay, so that was part of the treaty. So that's why that they were out in the open. So just to preface that. Yeah, so, it just seems like the United States was involved. And of course, Donald Trump comes out and says that, like, we had nothing to do with this. And we didn't, because this is damaging to the peace talks. And so anyhow, Matt, I don't know. Have you seen, did you hear about that strike?
No. What strike?
The one I just got done talking about while you're eating your seaweed.
Don't embarrass
you were digging
me.
into that. We're about to have a break. Trump versus Elon, part 2, right here on Faith the Nation, live.
No, there's
No, well, listen. I guess let me just say this. This is important because there's a massive escalation in this war, and it just seems like people are trying to drag the United States into a war with Russia. That's just what it seems like. Okay, and obviously, this is something that we don't want. We don't want to get dragged into a war with Russia, not because we're afraid of Russia. I mean, if they haven't taken out Ukraine, I mean, we're not really worried about Russia, to be honest with you, per se, other than they have nukes. And so we don't want that to happen.
To be honest with you, I'm just really upset
I mean,
with Donald Trump. He said we were going to be out of this war immediately. Okay, I'm just quoting leftist talking points now because he's such a bit crybaby whiner. So why can't you do it? You said you were going to do it. You said you can get us out of the war immediately. You're good friends with Putin. Why can't you do it, mister?
Well, to be fair,
why be fair?
Donald Trump has been very active in trying to get it. Now, okay, he ran on it. He ran from day one, while I'm president-elect. I know what he would say. Okay, I heard it, and I kind of believed it, but.
No, you know what? I know what it is. He wants to keep this military-industrial complex machinery big, beefed-up nonsense. He's not willing to disassemble the machinery. That's what it is. He's not willing to air all the baggage and let all the skeletons out of the closet, Alex.
Okay. So then, if you know why he's not, let me ask you this: how is he supposed to be able to stop the war then?
He'll stop. I've said it 1,000 times. Okay, you stop the war by admitting that we started the war. All right, we send them $1 trillion check. Right, we take responsibility for all the lives on both parts. Right, stop playing some sort of other game. We open up the vaults. We expose ourselves. We let all the skeletons out of the closet. We stop trying to pretend like we're going to put the cat back in the bag and defend ourselves against China and make ourselves the military leader of the world when we're the evilest son of a gun on the planet, right? That's how you do it. You say, sorry, we were complicit. This is the military technology that the other administration under us skeeved and connived in order to steal from you. We're giving it back to you. We work together, right? Instead, what are we doing? We got to build our nuclear arsenal, our military machinery. We got to not expose how evil and demonic that we've been and complicit as part of all this. In Christianity, what do you have to do? You have to repent, right? It means you have to openly, not just say that you feel bad about what you've done. You've got to confess to your brother and sister. We have to confess to the nations what role we've played. And you can't confess to the nations what role you've played just by blaming everything on some cognitive decline of Joe Biden. We can't heal, and we can't heal when people don't know the witchcraft networks, the pedophilia networks, all of the terrible things that we have had a role in. I mean, if I was president of the United, what would I do? What would Matt Opasek do if I was? I would also be fearful that I'm about to destroy the whole world, that I'm going to destroy American hegemony, or whatever it is. Our this idea that we lead by strength. That when I let the cat out of the bag, that I might just destroy the nation by doing so. But that's the risk I'll take, because that risk will bring people to Jesus. That risk, if we're exposing the role that we've played, and then digging out all of these tapes and showing everything, that's the only thing. That's the only card that we got. We got like 10 administrations that were the personification of evil on the earth. Throw them under the bus. Let's all take responsibility. And then if they don't come to the playing field, we tried our very best. He's trying to play by the same rules when we need ultimate transparency and vulnerability. I don't think you can play it two ways. I mean, if someone was coming to me and I know they literally instigated the whole fight, okay, but then I can't tell the world that they instigated the whole fight, but behind the scenes you want to now negotiate with me, it doesn't make any sense.
Actually, good points, Matt. No, those are actually good points, Matt. I mean, that what Jesus said: the truth shall set you free. And America, but in some sense, Donald Trump does say that Biden started the war. It's not like he's actually lying. It wasn't Trump. Trump didn't start the war.
But at the same time, he's too afraid. He's too afraid to fight this military-industrial complex. Why wasn't Doge? Why wasn't it the first stop? Okay, why wasn't it the first stop? That's where all of the skeletons are. Okay, so why wasn't it? It's because peace through strength. Peace through strength. No. Peace through vulnerability, peace through Christ. Peace through truth. Okay? Peace through that, right? Not peace through, but I get it, because I would also be afraid. You think, I get it, man. You have billions of people's lives. The whole world rests on his shoulders at this point in time if he's going to make moves like that, right? You have to have trust in God to make moves like that, right? Trusting that God, that if I do the right thing, and I close down my military-industrial complex, right? And now we don't have our secret space weapons or whatever the heck is going on, or the underground sex slaves or whatever the heck is going on over the place. I got to trust in God. Put all of our cards in God, right? And admit who we are, the role that we played, so that we can be that light that you put on the table for everybody to see, that light on the hill that everyone can see. And that's all well and good, but when you're in Donald Trump's shoes, I think your faith is really going to be tested, because you got... I really do understand the dilemma that if we don't continue building this machinery, is everybody over here playing Jesus? No. You think China's over here playing Jesus, playing Mr. Nice Guy, right? We're gonna have like the 8th largest military in the world and just think that we're gonna continue to be the reserve currency of the world? No, we built this reserve currency with a gun to people's heads, and you think that we're gonna transition by being the dove? I get it, but you ain't gonna stop world wars. You ain't gonna stop a war that way when you're dealing with monsters.
Yeah, no, I think that's actually pretty interesting that you bring that up about being honest, be truth. Yes, peace through Christ, peace through truth. I think that was really profound, Matt.
Thank you. I'm a very profound
impressed.
person. It's called shock and awe, right? The psychology of shock. We don't shock and awe them with bombs. We shock and awe them with truth. That's what they're not expecting. They're expecting fun and games and banter and the art of the deal. What was that thing? It was shock and awe. That was the Iraq or the Afghan invasion.
Shock and awe, Iraq. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. The Bush, second Bush invasion, shock and awe.
That's what we got. Here, we didn't do shock and awe. All right.
Yeah. So, I wanted to preface. I think that was. There was some breaking news. Just to finish off with Russia, and discuss about that. Obviously the peace talks have basically taken a back step in it for Ukraine and Russia. Obviously, Russia says that they are going to respond to what Ukraine has done. And it looks as though about an hour ago, I just posted this. This had just came out an hour ago, that Putin just launched an aerial assault on Kyiv. Kyiv is the capital of Ukraine, involving ballistic missiles and drones. Fires are reported. So that is breaking. And so, there's just a lot. I mean, war is ugly, and it's not pretty, and they need prayer. Everybody does. But anyways, I just wanted to give that breaking news. That's what's been going on with Russia. And there's another nuclear world power that America is involved in. And I'm not necessarily saying that they are a nuclear power, although I just did in some way, but that's kind of the question. Are they a nuclear power? And now I'm talking about Iran. Okay, Iran.
The boogeyman.
Well, you don't think that's a big deal, bro? That's a big deal.
Of course, it's a big deal. Of course, it's a big deal.
So,
but they're the boogeyman.
If you could share, if you could share my screen real quick. So basically, this was what was happening, is that the White House, and there was the IAEA reports that Iran has reached uranium enrichment enough to build nuclear weapons. Okay, and so this has recently come out amongst the peace talks and the nuclear talks that the Trump administration has been in with the Iranian regime, the Islamic regime, and it seems as though that they are also going south. Iran has stated that they will not stop uranium enrichment. They will not budge from their red line. Donald Trump has recently come out stating that the U.S. won't let Iran enrich uranium under a nuclear deal. And so we have an escalation with Iran. And I think that there's probably a strike that's coming, that is inevitable. And I don't want war, but I have to. If there, look, I don't want to get in a situation where we're on a wild goose chase. Right, and we're looking for WMDs, like the lies that we were fed in the early 2000s with Iraq, talking about WMDs, right? The shock and awe that you were talking about, Matt. I don't want to get in a situation where we're doing that again and we're wrong, right? Donald Trump, who criticized that war, doesn't want to get in a situation where he's being lied to, or he's lying to the public about Iran having nuclear weapons or enriching uranium to a level that will produce nuclear weapons. But if there is, then I think that we have no choice but to strike Iran's nuclear program and strike it very hard. And that's where I'm at. And I want to know what your thoughts, Matt. What are your thoughts? Can Iran have a nuke? And if we can't let them have a nuke, and they won't stop with their nuclear uranium enrichment, what do we do?
I can take the libertarian position, right? And I'm not saying the libertarian position is accurate, but it's the position that I hold. We need to worry about ourselves. Okay, we're not the policemen of the world. We don't get to choose who's allowed to have nuclear capabilities and who's not. Okay. The idea that we do get to have a voice in doing so means that we put ourselves into positions as the policemen of the world. Okay, we're in this precarious position because we are a huge defender of Israel, and Israel is over there surrounded by other Muslim nations that we just befriended, pretty much all of them with the exception of Iran. And again, I feel like there's these moral, philosophical political parties such as libertarianism, which is in my 20s, like it just seemed like that's what we have to do. But now, as I'm a little bit older, and since this Trump era has came in, I'm a little bit disillusioned with my libertarian hope or the libertarian idealism. It seems almost if it's not realistic. And that's also where I can see that, why is Trump throwing people like Rand Paul under the bus and Thomas Massie under the bus? It's like almost they're presenting to us a new option. So how do I handle, what do I think about Iran and a group of people that as either rumored to be involved in September 11th or rumored to have been agents of Mossad or agents of CIA involvement, so on and so forth. I think that when I put my conspiracy hat on, that I say that these guys are all, that it's a fake enemy, right? That the enemy over there is actually run by our cartels, that we put them in power, we keep them in power, and I question now in this day and age whether that whole narrative that I spoke for years is actually true. Is that too simple to be true, right? It makes the world very simple when there's one evil New World Order nefarious bad guy, right? And it's the Sachs Goldberg Gothas or the Illuminati, and they're all tied together, and our CIA controls absolutely everybody. But we know when we go to the Mujahideen and we go back in history that there is definitely criminal affiliations between the Iran government and the Shah of Iran, and how that all interties into our government. I could grok it right now, and I could very easily put together that as just so much as Saudi Arabia is a puppet of the United States, so is Iran. But that's this old conspiracy 20-year-old Matt way of thinking that's not substantiated. While we were talking, I wanted to read Albert Pike's letter to Mazzini, right? It was a letter that was rumored to have been wrote. Albert Pike, a Freemason, wrote this letter back in my conspiracy days, and it was a depiction of 3 world wars. And I decided to, I'd always remembered, hey, this thing was supposedly in the British Library and the British Museum, this letter. Before I read that letter, because I brought it up a few times on the show, it's always in my conspiracy mind, I just grokked it real quick, and Grok is saying, multiple Freedom of Information requests to the British Library and British Museum, including those in 2013, 2020, and 2023, have confirmed that no such letter exists in their collections. So I'm answering your question by saying that I have a predisposition of old bandwagons that I stand on, old soapboxes, and if the libertarian position works, and if it was so true, then I would say let's do it. If the conspiratorial hat and saying everybody's controlled by the New World Order, and if that's true, then I would say let's do it. But I think the reality is sort of what I said last episode, perhaps not in the right tone. I just don't trust their book. I don't trust a group of people. I don't trust the United States of America, a group of people who are founded on a book but don't follow it, that are Christians in name only, right? And I don't trust that group of people over there who their extremists are going to inevitably rise to the top because of how their book dictates how they're supposed to treat the world. Did I say anything of substance? I don't know. I think it's really easy when you wear these conspiracy hats, and that's why it's a lot more comfortable to be on those conspiracy bandwagons than it is to be a true student of history. Here, why don't you filibuster while I type in the Shah of Iran?
So should U.S. allow Iran to have nuclear weapons? I put that poll 3 minutes ago, had about 4 votes, and everybody said no so far. I'm going to end this poll. I'm going to ask a little bit of a different poll. And so I'm going to put another poll in here. It says, if Iran gets nuclear weapons, should U.S. strike Iran? Now, we have to think about that one, because if we do strike Iran, and if they do have nuclear weapons now, and we miss, then we're risking a nuclear war, essentially. So I'm going to put that poll up. Please let us know what you guys think. One thing I will talk about really quick is the path less traveled says, "Why are you scared of Iran?" And I don't think anybody said that we were scared of Iran. But we're just talking about should America allow them to have nuclear weapons, and I just don't think we should. And yeah, I hear you. I hear you, brother Matt. It's like, who are we to be the world police? But that's just where we're at, and I think
I'm just trying to get my footing, because I have to account for God for what I say and do in my private life, and on this program is another thing. And I remember when I first met the Lord, and I had been giving all these conspiracy speeches forever, and I so instinctually can open my mouth and give my answer, right? And I remember internally it was something about old wineskins not being able to hold the new wine, and it was like, you have to forget all your old speeches and reevaluate everything from this new lens of Christ, But yeah, and so in these conversations, I always have this conspiracy leaning, and this libertarian leaning, and I wanted to believe that we're in a new age where people like Trump are smarter than us in the past. I'm just going to read real quick. I'm going to read real quick verbatim from Grok, just to give us a foundation of the conspiracies that are out there regarding U.S. hegemony and Iran. U.S. orchestration of 1953 coup, Operation Ajax. 1953 coup, which overthrew Prime Minister Mohammad Mossadegh and restored the Shah to power, is a well-documented event with declassified CIA records claiming U.S. and British involvement. The CIA, with British intelligence, orchestrated Operation Ajax to counter Mossadegh's, I used to get speechless with that name, whatever it is, nationalization of the Anglo-Iranian oil company, which threatened Western oil interest. Kermit Roosevelt Jr. led efforts to bribe media, clergy, and mobs to destabilize Mossadegh, ultimately reinstating the Shah as the autocratic ruler. This is not a conspiracy theory, but a historical fact acknowledged by the CIA in 2013 as undemocratic. Some narratives exaggerate the extent of U.S. control, claiming that the Shah was a puppet installed and micromanaged by the CIA. These theories suggest the U.S. dictated all of the Shah's policies, from his white revolution reforms to his oil price hikes, while the U.S. provided significant military and economic support. The Shah pursued independent policies, such as leading OPEC to raise oil prices in 1973, which caused tensions with Western allies. Critics argue these theories oversimplify the Shah's agency, as he often acted as Iran's national interest, not just as a U.S. proxy. Feel free to interject here at any time. 1979 revolution as U.S.-British plot to remove the Shah. A prominent conspiracy theory supported by the Shah himself in his memoir Answer to History claims the U.S. and the U.K. orchestrated his overthrow in 1979 due to his increasing independence, particularly his role in raising oil prices through OPEC and nationalizing Iranian oil in 1973. Skipping down, Carter's engagement with Khomeini. The 2016 BBC report, based on declassified U.S. cable, suggests Carter's administration had contact with Khomeini entourage before the 1979 revolution. So, when we go into history of the conspiratorial world, we end up finding the International Monetary Fund, OPEC, Big Oil, the New World Order, involved in manipulating every major player on the world scene. And what's carefully remembered in 9/11 is who did we point out as being the axis of evil? Okay, who was the axis of evil in 9/11? Well,
talking about a nation. Talking about a nation, or are you talking about an individual?
In the conspiracy world, what we would always say it was those countries that were not under the thumb of the New World Order. Okay. So Iran, Iraq, North Korea, Okay, Saudi Arabia, right? These are all the countries that were labeled as the axis of evil. Okay, so these appear to be the countries by which we failed in our attempt to usurp complete and total control over their country. Okay, so are they a real threat? Yes. Should they be a real threat? Yes. Who is the United States of America? What kind of bullies and punks and monsters took us over? The same speech that I gave from before. Okay, so a country like Iran has suffered the United States trying to infiltrate its means of controlling itself, sustaining itself, providing prosperity. That ties into the conversation we were having last year. I mean, last show about immigration. Why is it that all these other nations are plundered and now they have to sneak into the United States in order to make a living for themselves? John Perkins wrote a book called The Economic Hitman. Okay, it sticks in my memory forever. All right, and it's a true story that accurately reflects the role that the United States government and emissaries all across the world has had in controlling every nation state. And those that slipped from under our fingers that we were not able to dominate are mostly at this point in time Muslim nations. And they are the axis of evil. So I think truth could get us out of this situation as well.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, man. You're a little bit further into all this conspiracy stuff. You've been doing it a lot longer, and I got nothing to say.
But it's easy. But it's too easy because it's also the conspiracy was always easy. It does seem too good to be true just to have these oversimplified answers for absolutely everything. You know what I mean? But this is the foundation that I'm standing on, and I can't help but ponder it when we're talking about these nations. And then who Israel is as well comes into factor. Who is this Israel? We don't need to go there.
Yeah. So we've got some breaking news coming out, and this is interesting. So this is from Leading Report. If you want, you can share my screen. It says, breaking, Elon Musk agrees that he and President Trump should make peace for the benefit of the country. Laura Loomer, right above it. You guys don't know who Laura Loomer is, but she says the left is going to melt down when Elon Musk is standing next to President Trump as he is signing the big, beautiful bill in the Oval Office. Oh, man.
I would love that.
What is this, man? Is this a stage? Is this an acting session, everybody says, right? It's
cool.
A stage.
I would love
the world's
that.
A stage.
I would love that. That would be that peace thingy, making friends thing. I hope they're so sophisticated that they stage something.
Say sorry. Yeah, say sorry to each other. Apologize.
Or have staged all of this as a distraction. I mean, I would love if this was this 5D chess thing going on. Play with my manipulation. Manipulate.
Hey, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. Let's just say they do apologize. Who apologized first? Who do you think it is?
Gives a crud. Who should apologize first? I think.
No. Who does?
Trump.
No. Who does?
Oh.
Not who should, but who does?
I don't know these people. The bigger man is the one who apologizes first.
Just what do you think? I'm not telling you to, you know them. Just saying, who do you think?
I don't even know how to answer a question like that. Who do I think? I think that today I'm so angry at both of them. I'm the one I think should be the biggest spokesperson that I elected, that I felt God put in my heart, was Donald Trump. So I would want Donald Trump to be the bigger man in all things, as he's the one that I'm trying to be a man worthy of being replicated and looking up to, not a man who lies, right, and just says what sounds good for the moment. All right, I don't even mind if someone lies. Lying is human nature. I'm sorry. I did this wrong. I shouldn't have done this. I shouldn't have done that. I mean, that's my whole game. So yeah, Donald, you should be the one to apologize, because I think he's the one that misstated. But then that would be so easy to be like, yeah, you know what? And Elon could say, but I jumped off the handle. I shouldn't have threw it in your face that you were lying and told anybody at that point. And And then Trump says, well, I shouldn't have snapped back at you, you know? And he's like, yeah, and I shouldn't have said that you're a pedophile. Sorry for calling you a pedophile, Dad.
All right. That's all I got, man. Well, you got some stuff, right? You wanted to talk about? We got some stuff coming on with Sean Feud. How do you say his name? I don't know how to say his last name.
Sean Feucht, Fuchs, Let Us Worship. You know, Julie Roy's, the Roy's Report, which has came up a few times in the past weeks. You know, again, I hesitate to get into all this stuff, but Sean Fuchs, Feucht, whatever it is, Let Us Worship, who went around the country during COVID, doing all these wonderful worship events, came under fire. And if people want to say it's not Julie Roy's who's doing the reports, you know, because actually in this instance, there is a statement that has been released. I'll bring it up on my screen here. This website, truthandfreedomstories.com. Formal statements regarding Sean Feucht, whatever the heck his name is, I forget. These are the signatures down here at the bottom. Christy Gafford, Peter and Amanda Hartzell, Liam Bernard, Richie Booth. Allegations of, you know, what are they always saying? This time it's not of a sexual nature.
Sexual misconduct.
No, not sexual. This is all financial. So let's go to the evidence. And Alex, I can't be right about all of these, all right? There's no way that there's no bad players out there, that there's no bad guys out there. And my instinct is I can't stand Julie Roy's. I can't stand, let's go to this website right now, okay? The Roy's Report. All right, let's go. Let's just look. My instincts are perhaps rotten, right? It's like the only thing I get right in this whole Christianity thing is trying really hard not to become an accuser of the brethren. But then I find myself, if I'm wrong about Roy's report, then I'm accusing I'm like the accuser of the brethren. So let's look at this website, right? Now we got former Newsboys frontman Michael T. Haight accused of sexual assault, grooming, and substance abuse dating back to 2004. Okay. Southern Backlist likely to vote again on women pastors. Colorado Christians visit First Nations massacre site. Here, Sean accused of financial mismanagement. This is like the news of all of the horrible stuff going on in the body. Okay, Pastor John Paul Miller marries third wife in private Myrtle Beach ceremony. Okay, Christians in Cambodia care for
third wife.
Look at. She's actually putting some halfway decent stuff in here. It's not just all sycophantic nonsense. His time is up. Rick Joyner says Mike Bickle should be restored to ministry. Anyhow, but if I were to go on this website and I would look at all these stories, I end up leaning towards this position that I think Julie started off right, and then somewhere along the way, she, her whole job became having to stare into the abyss and stare into the darkness.
She got the views,
and now I have to look at a tabloid, and maybe like half of these articles are true, right? But there's something about it that just. There's something about, I just don't feel right about it. And I don't feel right about attacking her. But anyhow, so she has brought, in my tech, she brought to attention, I think she plays a role in people now making websites like this. I think that her website plays a role in saying, now we have a voice like the Roy's Report. So 4 of us can get together. How many people have left? Anybody can leave a church and say anything they want. We want to think that we're like one big happy family here in the body of Christ. We're not. People are filled with egos. Everyone's backbiters. I mean, not everybody, but it's just, remember people that point the fingers at Pastor David for good reason, without good reason. I mean, I've just seen so many divisions. When 4 people come out and they sign some sort of thing, this is their case. Oh no, look at, he brought in $5.3 million and his total expenses was 1.1. Okay. He owns all these houses. I don't care. my position is that when when I donate money to people, right? I don't think there's not once where I've donated money thinking, let them be a replacement for me doing evangelizing, right? Now, yes, if I adopt a child in India or something like that, I do expect you to take care of that child in India, right? But when I've donated money to him, it's like, I like what you're doing. You're traveling across the country, go buy speakers, do events, do what you're gonna do, but also like live. I don't care, right? I take care of other people. I put my money towards like personally helping people, right? I put my money towards evangelism. I don't mind him owning all these houses, right? I don't mind. And I don't think I need to know about any of this. And I don't personally care about anything that's on this website. And then look at this. Look at their at right now. It's like here, report a story. Look at, share your experience. If you have information, experiences, or evidence related to Sean Feucht's ministries that you believe should be included in this research report, this is a safe space to share your story. Look how organized it is. Report financial abuse, report abuse, right? Oh, let's click on report abuse. Look at how they got a form now I can fill out. It's verbal abuse, scripture, mistweeting, right? Fear and intimidation tactics.
Twisting, misuse of twisting.
They're literally like upset that he said that he was at an event of a stadium that had like 7,000 people in it, and when it was only a quarter fill, it might have had 4,500 people in it. I mean, do I like literally expect, like, we say that we have 30 churches. Some of those 30 churches are like barely hanging on by a thread and have like 4 people, right? I mean, which one of us don't exaggerate at some point in times, and which one of us don't intend to be exaggerating? And sometimes we do intend to exaggerate. I mean, it's just like, so I'm bringing up this story again just to say that here is again where Matt Lepasic, I don't buy it. I don't buy this era of exposure that's taking place, and I don't care what houses you own, and that's my position. And then we go on to Facebook. Oh, let's go on to Facebook. Let's see what Facebook says. Oh, you know how much people love saying stuff on Facebook. Let's get out of the Christ Forgiveness Ministries webpage. Because of course I had to open up my mouth already, which I just shouldn't. I just keep my mouth shut, right? Okay. So I'm on Sean's page. Birds of a tether are working together. When Soros-backed Christianity Today, Rolling Stone, and LGBTQ mafia gang up to attack Christians, you never know, a big breakthrough is coming. Julie Roys comes from Christianity Today. Did you know that? Nobody even knows who she is. She comes from Christianity Today. Christianity Today was part of the Doge thingamabobber, which showed like $5 million of government grants going to them. They're constantly involved in left-wing issues, right? And now here's the thing. Well, now, we should audit your financial books and everything now. Now he's got put on the defensive, and now he's got to make all of his books transparent. And the position that I sort of take in all of this is like, I like transparency. In fact, when I first made the Christ Forgiveness Ministries New York City website, I made a WordPress module, right? I used the WordPress module that it took account for every single dollar we brought in. Now, we didn't end up using the website too much and stuff, but I love transparency. But I don't like when you put a gun to my head and then you have accusations, and then you say you have to be transparent for that purpose. I think we should all be transparent because transparency, is the way that we communicate trust, so on and so forth. So I bring this up just to say that once again, me personally, I don't care about you and your stupid little report here, Julie. And I don't care about you people and you're begging me for more statements. I think I'm literally going to fill out this form and tell them that Sean touched me inappropriately, or I saw him in the bathroom touching, he did something, and have them contact me, reach out to me, and I'm going to give them a fake story and watch it get posted on their website. That's probably what would happen. That's my rant.
Yeah, okay. Well, I don't know that you should, tell them that happened to you if it didn't. But, this whole Royce report, I know that, all that with Dr. Brown, we had talked about that a couple of weeks back. It just sounds like, she got some views or whatever, or likes or retweets.
And you don't know much about it, so throw me under the bus.
I don't know much about it, but I mean,
know.
it just seems like that's what she likes to do, is get those types of that kind of news, that kind of it's almost like a gossip, isn't it? Isn't it almost like gossip, to try to fish for these types of stories, or I don't know.
But doesn't someone like her also exist? It's like when she first started, I was totally down. But now it's like things like this always happens. It happens in everybody's life. Something that starts good eventually turns into crud. And now I got this website which is just non-stop church exposure. And now it's like everybody that lands on this website, you're done. You're done. Nobody gives anybody benefit of doubt, right? And maybe they shouldn't even be giving benefit of doubt, But I'm over here on the other side, and it is like, should a website like this exist, people? Go look it over, I feel like there's a temptation for, like what was I telling you earlier, this exposed ministry-itis, exposed mania is taking place. It's getting the most views, it's getting the most everything, and everyone's just being thrown under the bus right and left. And I trust Julie and her one employee to do all this research and investigations. So I want to know who these people are. Let's research. Let me see their faces. I want to see you. I want to hear your whole testimony. I want to know everything, and then I want to compare them to the people that are like coming up against our ministry, because how many names of people we got come up against our ministry that used to be with the ministry, right? So I'm just psychologically just like, how do I screw my head on straight? I know some of them have proper grievances, but I also know that half of what they say is completely delusional, right? And I'm just supposed to believe that we're over here in a time of complete exposure, and that the devil wouldn't try to also intermingle himself to take legitimate instances of abuse and grooming and all this type of stuff, and take advantage of this season of exposure in order to take out good people of God, So the word from me is just, I'd like for everyone to just like, don't fall for it. Don't just because a new article comes out condemning some ministry, you just like, oh, I knew it. Oh, I can't believe he's bad too. That's what's happening. Look into it. Dig into it. There's literally nothing on this website. Just like Mike Winger is trying to throw Todd White under the bus for drinking a smoothie while fasting, which he doesn't even have any evidence of. It's like literally ridiculous. Like, unless there's some sort of sexual impropriety, I don't give a crud, right? So,
okay.
What do you people say?
Yeah, I don't care if somebody's drinking a smoothie or not. I mean, I think that's kind of dumb and petty. If that was true, if they really did that.
Look at how I phrase all this. It's like I take there's like 50 accusations. I take the one that's the most ridiculous to describe to you in order to get your agreement. The point is just that you don't have time to research it. Pastor Dave doesn't have time to research it. I do research it. And before any of you jump to a conclusion, I don't mind myself being wrong, but I could really use some help. Of you guys saying, hey, we looked through all the data for ourselves, and Matt, we completely disagree with you, and we feel that you're in such grievous error by siding with these people that you need to stop talking about this stuff. Or Matt, I looked into all this stuff and I sort of agree with you. This is a huge giant nothing burger here. And yes, we could all stand from transparency. Transparency should be my goal. It's my first instinct. My first instinct is psychology, is that I never want you to think that we're misappropriating funds. Therefore, I don't even want to have the appearance of evil. Therefore, I would make our QuickBooks and everything super transparent as a standard, so that when you donate money to us, you never think for a moment that it's going to go to the wrong place. And that would be my way of thinking from the get-go. But it's like after the accusers come, right, and now they say you're misappropriating funds, I sort of feel like on the defensive and being like, well, I don't want to do it because you told me to do it now. I don't want to do it because you threatened me, right? I don't want to do it because you destroyed our ministry in the public airwaves, you know. So I got to get this website done, this software done that will allow, it's like QuickBooks for churches, that will allow every church to have public, transparency in all of their finances, and then nobody can use the prosperity gospel. And like, why don't I would imagine if Kenneth Copeland could just like show us what he uses his plane for all the time. Not that he should have to, okay? But if he did, maybe we would all be like, oh my gosh, look at how wrong we got it. Look at what he just did with that all day long. I think transparency is the solution for all these things, and we in the church really do need to like offset all of these attacks and reports by getting more on the transparency bandwagon game, because we should be without reproach, and it's becoming way too easy for people to throw us under the bus, and they wouldn't be able to do that if we were more transparent.
That's good, man. I actually like that you said that. I mean, that would follow, basically confessing your sins one to another. So that's scripture. I mean, that's, that would lead to, like you said, transparency, but that would lead to just being open and being humble, right? That's the humble thing to do, and that's hard to do, but that would be the humble thing to do. So I think that's good, man.
Oh, I finally said something good.
Yeah.
Good. All right.
No, you've been saying a couple things good, man. What you said, peace through Christ, peace through truth. I remember that. That could be like a little clip for the AI to grab. Huh.
Well, let's
AI. We use AI.
Before we depart, let's hawk some crosses, huh?
Yeah.
Please, people. Me and Sister Liza, we're killing ourselves making these crosses. We're doing it for you. For you. Because I saw these crosses and I said they're oh so amazing.
For the MAGA Christians.
And they're for God, because how many crosses do you have out there that are just like the same thing over and over and over and over? And there's so many directions you can go in a cross where you're like, that is like totally unbiblical. It's like, I don't want to have anything to do with that type of cross, But look at this one. So unique. What do those gears remind you of? What do these industrial gears remind you of, I know what they remind me of, and that's why I'm totally support these
hardworking.
things. Hardworking, but to me, it truly does. It's not just our slogan. It reminds me that we're all the members of the body. See, there's you, Alex. There's me. I'm the big one. No, it's like there's me over there in the corner. There's a little foot. There's a little arm. And these are so touching and they're so beautiful. And Father's Day is coming up actually. And there's Sister Liza. Look at her. You see how old she is? Look at those hands. She is old. No, she's not even that old. She's like 62 years old, right? She is old, lady, guys. This is her business actually, and I want to support her. Look at her. See her face? Okay, those are wrinkles. All right. But she makes these crosses by hand, and we have them for sale, and it's actually at a reasonable price. $5 for a small little tiny one, about big, about 7 inches big. $45 for a 12-inch. $75 for what is that? Anyhow, and it all goes up to $95 including shipping. And I'm telling you, they're beautiful. And we make these things through our 3D printer. But if we just ship them out to you, godgears.com, from that 3D printer, you wouldn't even want it. Because who wants this dumb thing 3D printed, right? It's cool. I love watching them print all day, but it's not really worth anything. All the effort is this lady and her formula of how to paint this plastic, okay, to look just like real gears. And I guarantee you, you can't do it justice. The photos just don't capture how beautiful these things are. Perfect for your garden, perfect for Father's Day, perfect for your shop, perfect for your tool yard, perfect for anything.
For my podcast.
Perfect for the podcast. Kliss has so many of these crosses, I sent them to him. So you can use coupon code FAITHTHENATION, and you're going to save 10% off of these beautiful crosses. And you know what? I'm going to give you a guarantee. If you don't like the crosses, I'm going to give you your money back, right? And you can return the cross. You don't even have to return the cross, right? So if you buy this cross, right, and then you say, you know what, I don't like it, right? You're going to be able to keep the cross, okay? Now, if I end up getting
Sister
scammed by
Shirley
you
says
Christians,
because he ate all the seaweed. Because you ate all the seaweed.
what about it? What about seaweed?
I don't
right?
know. I don't know. I just thought it was funny. It's a funny comment.
I'm on a diet, right? Now, I've been giving these things away in evangelism, okay? And people really love it. They love it. They love it, okay? So if you want to buy these in bulk, you can just buy them in bulk, right? Bottom line is, Sister Liza needs to eat, okay? Godgears.com. I can't feed her forever, all right? And it's been a pretty long advertisement. And let's also throw some shade towards Brother Brent over
No
at...
shade. No shade. We're throwing some...
oh, wrong word.
I don't... Yeah. We're not throwing shade, but we
word?
are throwing some love. We're throwing some
Love, respect, right? We're going to take the audio off. So,
Yes.
the Jesus Save signs. Why don't you do this one, Alex? Do it.
Yeah, get your Jesus Saves. Look, Sean Feucht right there holding a Jesus Saves sign. We were just talking about him. That's the Jesus Saves guy, CFMOCLA. Look, Jesus Saves sign's been all over the United States. We know Brother Brent and Sister Bridget personally. They come to all of our CFM conferences here in Orlando, which is coming up at the end of November. So be sure to get your tickets for a CFM conference. But, man, get your Jesus Save signs. Go to JesusSaveSigns.com. They've got gospel tracts. They've got wristbands. They've got shirts. They've got everything. They've got magnets that you can put on your car. And, man, what better way to evangelize with a simple message that says Jesus saves. Go to JesusSaveSigns.com and get your Jesus Saves gear today.
JesusSaveSigns.com. It's made by a good Christian man and a good
In the beginning
Christian
was the
woman.
Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God.
God.
You have that?
You want me to play the ad?
No, you don't. No, it's just
I always
the
have.
song.
In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God. The Word was God. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word.
It's enough. Unless you want more.
No shade. No shade.
No shade.
Sister Tay-Tay.
So yeah, Christian businesses and the Sister Taylor, did she get her website stuff back up? Let's see, because it was down for a little bit. Anyhow, Taylor, if your website's back up, let us know, and we'll continue promoting that thing. Because that was nice stuff too.
Yeah. Well, that's about all we got. I mean, as far as like updating news.
I got some night pickleball to go play. It's been a wonderful schedule. 10:30
Night
p.m.
pickleball.
Night pickleball
Yeah.
with my glasses. With my glasses, I'm now up to 10 hours a day of pickleball.
When are you coming back to Florida, bro?
I hate Florida. I hate it more than anything. Unfortunately, my uncle has passed, and I am going to need to stick here for the funeral. So I will be back to Florida near the end of the month. I'm finding this out.
Sorry to hear that, man.
Yeah. It's actually the one who I gave a testimony about. It seemed like he was going to make it, and anyhow, he's out of suffering now. He was in the Lord. He was in the Lord, but
Amen.
he fell. He actually, this was from a drug overdose. My family is mostly white trash. He had a radical encounter with Jesus, changed his life about 4 or 5 years ago. My family's, some of my families are like Hell's Angels and different biker gangs, and they had this tradition. Anyhow, I want to get into it, but we just got to be careful. We got to watch ourselves, because you got a tradition, and you're in the Lord 1 second, and then you're around your buddies, and your buddies are like, hey, we just had one of our biker friends die. Let's all do a line of coke. And that is your last line of coke you'll ever do.
Yeah, that's not good. Well,
So
yeah. Well, I mean, look, I think there's always hope for, a moment of regret, remorse, godly sorrow when doing these things, and there's that hope of crying out to God and receiving that forgiveness. The thief on the cross, right?
I know
Thief
God's
on the cross
merciful,
type.
to be honest with you. I know God is absolutely merciful. He's far more merciful than we can ever possibly imagine. But we got to be careful.
We are, for sure.
We got to be careful not to use that knowledge of His. Not me too, man. I mean, me too, especially. We got to be careful not to use that grace of knowing how merciful He is, and keep that fear of God. Keep the fear of God. So anyhow,
I agree, man. Okay. Well, let's keep the fear of God. Let's, faith the nation. Thank you guys for watching. Definitely for, all you guys that are faithful watchers of the show. We really do love you guys. Appreciate you guys. You guys are like our family. Thank you guys for sticking with us as we, dive into politics, news, current events, and the saying is that we put on our biblical spiritual eyes so we can see what's happening behind the veil, and so that we can faith the nation. And it's not just the name of a podcast, but that it's a movement, right? We are not just sitting idle about what happens in politics, but we want to influence our politicians with the faith of Christ. And for those of you guys that may be watching that maybe have not believed in the gospel, well, listen, now's your chance to repent of your sins, believe on the Lord Jesus Christ for what He's done for you on the cross, His death, burial, resurrection, His rising from the dead. And if you believe in the gospel of Jesus Christ, then you shall be saved. Receive the gift of the Holy Ghost. Get the joy of the Spirit like Matt has. See how he has the joy, right? There's a joy right there, deep inside.
deep.
Get discipled, get filled with the Holy Spirit, and then rise up and faith the nation. God bless you guys. Bing, bing, bong, bong, boom.
You pieces of trash better make up tonight. Elon and Trump. Disgusting.
Repent.
Repent,
Apologize.
you monsters. How dare you do this in public?
Forgive.
Bring reproach. Bring reproach in His name. You're against the living God by this stuff, you sickos.
Blessed are the merciful, for they